All right, let's dive straight into today's explainer, where we're going to take your everyday routine and turn it into totally fluent, natural-sounding English. Have you ever felt completely stuck just trying to explain a normal day in your life? Well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today is all about sentence building. We're taking those scattered thoughts floating around in your head and turning them into a smooth, flowing narrative that you can deliver with absolute confidence. And the best part? We're completely stripping away the complex grammar rules to give you the exact practical tools you actually need.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We've got welcome to day 2, the everyday formula, your typical day vocabulary, smart transition words, sounding like a native, and finally, your speaking challenge. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Welcome to Day 2, building on your self-introduction.
So, have you ever just completely frozen up when someone simply asks, "Hey, what did you do today?" It's such a harmless question, right? Maybe it's a colleague at the coffee machine or a friend catching up over the phone. But suddenly, your mind just goes totally blank. You know exactly what you did in your native language, but translating that daily grind into English, it suddenly feels like this massive, monumental task. You start stressing about past tense, present tense, verbs, nouns, you name it. It's an incredibly common roadblock, believe me. But think of it like putting together a giant puzzle. You've already proven to yourself that you can start communicating by conquering day 1. The daily routine? That's just the next logical piece of that puzzle. We're going to make it so systematic and straightforward that answering, "What did you do today?" literally becomes second nature. You've totally got this. Section 2. The everyday formula. Keeping it simple. Okay, what's really awesome about this formula is how we're throwing all that complicated grammar jargon right out the window. The crucial point here is that just by combining I with a simple action word, you immediately create a solid, understandable sentence. That's the everyday formula. I eat, I work, I sleep. When you're talking about your daily routine, you're mostly just talking about facts and habits, so you really don't need to overcomplicate it. The subject is always I, because it's your day. All you do is drop an action word right next to it. It's practically foolproof, and honestly, it's the absolute foundation of conversational English. Moving on to Section 3, your typical day vocabulary, structuring your time. Now that we have our simple formula, I plus the action word, we just need to load up your arsenal with the right vocabulary weapons. Think about a typical day chronologically. From dawn until dusk, you need the exact natural verbs to describe your routine. In the morning, you don't just leave sleep, you wake up. You brush your teeth. Moving into the afternoon, you don't travel to the work building, you commute. Once you're there, you might catch up on emails or tasks. And finally, in the evening, rather than saying "I stop doing things," native speakers usually say "I unwind." These specific action words immediately elevate your English. They take you from sounding like a direct translation app to sounding completely natural.
Take a look at this perfect daily routine paragraph. It shows exactly how our I plus action word formula builds a complete, cohesive thought. Look at how clean this is. I wake up and brush. I commute and catch up on work. Later, I unwind in the evening. There's literally no confusing grammar here. It's just you, the action, and a tiny bit of context. By taking those strong vocabulary words and plugging them directly into the simplest formula possible, you've just crafted a perfectly valid, grammatically correct, and highly natural-sounding summary of your entire day. Pretty cool, right?
Section 4. Smart transition words, connecting your ideas naturally. Right now, we've got some really great sentences, but if we just stack them on top of each other, it can sound, well, a bit robotic. I wake up, I brush, I commute. To fix that, we need some mortar to hold our building blocks together. Enter these 5 smart transition words. They act as bridges. We've got then, after that, later, usually, and finally. So instead of I wake up, I brush, you say I wake up, and then I brush. Instead of I commute, I catch up on work, you say I commute, and after that, I catch up on work. And to wrap up the whole shebang, you say, finally, I unwind. These 5 little words instantly transform a robotic list into a warm, engaging story. They are absolute game changers for your fluency.
Section 5. Sounding like a native, the secret to fluent pauses.
Now we're going to add the final coat of paint to our house by mastering the art of the pause. And honestly, this is something textbooks almost never teach you. Look, even native speakers don't speak perfectly without stopping. We all need a split second to think about what we want to say next.
The secret isn't never pausing, it's how you pause. These fluency fillers, like, to be honest, or basically, are going to be your new best friends. They let your brain think of the next word without breaking your rhythm. So when your brain is scrambling to remember the word commute, instead of freezing, you just naturally toss in, and, I head to the office. It keeps your vocal cords engaged, sounds incredibly authentic, and gives you that crucial 1 second of processing time.
There is just a massive difference between an anxiety-inducing silence and a completely natural, native-sounding pause. On one hand, an awkward silence kind of highlights the language barrier and makes everyone a little uncomfortable. But on the flip side, simply inserting a quick, makes that silence totally vanish. The listener just assumes you're gathering your thoughts, which actually is exactly what native speakers do all day long. It's honestly a psychological trick as much as a linguistic one, and it is going to work absolute wonders for your confidence.
Section 6, Your Speaking Challenge. Time to practice.
All right, you've got all the tools, so the crucial part now is to actually use them in the real world. Passive learning, like just watching this explainer, will only get you so far. Fluency is physical muscle memory as much as it is mental knowledge. Your tongue and vocal cords physically need to get used to producing these combinations. So, here is your final boss battle. A simple 3-step challenge you absolutely must do the second this explainer ends. Step 1. Decide right now if you're going to talk about yesterday or your plans for today. Step 2. Set a timer on your phone for exactly 60 seconds and speak out loud. No writing it down first, just speak. Use the I plus action word formula, use your transition words, and if you get stuck, use a filler like, Step 3. Complete your practical homework assignment to lock it all in. This 1 minute of out loud practice is where the real magic happens.
So, what are your plans for today? Seriously, I want you to speak your answer out loud right now using everything we just learned. Because guess what? You are officially ready for day 3. As soon as this finishes, ask yourself that question. Are you going to wake up, commute, and maybe catch up on some work? Or, just unwind? The power to express your life clearly is now entirely in your hands. Take a deep breath, trust the formula, and ask yourself, what is your English-speaking voice going to sound like today?